How you doing, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And this one, we're going to be going through our trades for our three teams there. And just wanted to get started with our people squad. But before we do that, I just want to read out a little passage from one of our guys in the Discord group who's doing really well at the moment. He sent me through his team, and he's currently ranked 193. So just asked him to fill me in on a few, how he started his team, a few of the trades he sort of made to end up where he's at now. So what we've got here is he's just said that during the starts, it's actually his first year of playing, and has used a fair bit of sort of my feedback and stuff, which is great. But the team he started with, his first trades were James Roberts to Latrell. So that seemed to be a pretty solid trade and worked out all right because Roberts didn't end up playing. So Latrell has scored okay since you brought him in, and just something to think about with these guys is they have that massive round in the first one, and then you've just picked him up at around that 40 average across the next two games. Obviously, he's looking pretty good, but just something to think about. He missed out on those points, and if he did end up starting, that trade probably hasn't netted him too much yet. But our next one is Welch to Leniu. So he decided to get rid of Welch really early. So yes, some things to think about, guys, is already he's moved on. Roberts, who we didn't know he wasn't going to be playing, but he's moved on him pretty quickly, and he's moved on Welch really quickly for Leniu. So he brought him in, and Leniu hasn't scored as well since that first game there. So interesting thoughts there. Round three trades were Tino to Schuster. So just had the one trade, and again, he's moved on pretty quick from Tino, and he only scored 45 last round. So again, he netted some points on there and a good cash cow. So only the three trades so far. And this week he's planning on selling Croker to Sam Walker, which is fine, and then upgrading Leniu to a keeper in the mid or edge, so or center as well. So just think about that, guys. That these are some of these moves are very chasing points, but first year playing moves, and he's gotten pretty lucky, but in that sense, but has started with a nice, solid, well-rounded team, which you can see from where he's at here. That's his main side here. And then moving on to the bench, so sitting with a few of these guys, and started with Simkin, which was not sure about that move, but this just shows that the differences between some of our teams aren't that big. It's just the type of players he started with. He started with Townsend, he started with Fafita, he had Alvaro from the start, Brayley from the start, Momorowski's done well, Tedesco, for example, Pap, and then brought in Latrell pretty quick. So this is where it's at the moment. He said I'm currently sitting 193, but a little bit of a fluke as some starting team. Started with a lot of high percentage players. Some guns he's targeting in the future. Gagai, Peachy in the centers, and then Twal and Adam Elliott. So again, a lot of the guys that have scored really well. So he's looking at chasing those points a little bit, but they should be guys that will be doing pretty well going forward. Looking forward to the next three rounds. Want to max out Little and Townsend value before flicking them to either a cow, and then the other two a gun. So I like that strategy, going up and down with that. Backline I'm happy with. Have set and forget with Latrell, Paps, Teddy. Laurie is cover. Got no center cover at the moment, which is risky, and that's so far he's paid off, which he said. What's helped me a lot is listening to podcasts, following my own opinion based on that, and that's a really good point there. Is use all this the detail and the analysis you're getting from myself and other podcasts, for example, but then formulating your own opinion on it and doing that. And his biggest regret is starting with Tino instead of Adam Elliott, but no one knew exactly how Adam Elliott was going to go. He said, I don't know how the buy rounds works. Any feedback and advice for that would be much appreciated. And if for him, this is the Camping Abo in the Discord group. And all you guys, I did a video. If you scroll back sort of about 30 videos, there's a buy round video. You could search that in on YouTube as well. And there's a Q&A I did not a week or so ago that explains a bit of that too. So jump in and check those videos there. But there you go, guys. That's the thoughts from a player that's ranked 193, and just have a look at your overall score. They're all about 100 or 150 points behind, so not too much. It's fairly easy to catch that up, but you just got to remind yourself that some of these guys have just started with a better team at this stage, and we're making trades to get to that point. So we might be a couple of extra trades down, but it's then how you're going to navigate the next period and making sure you're picking up the right guys and guys that's aren't sort of that mid tier. We're not exactly sure about. They could go all the way to the moon, or they could go down, and then you lose all your ranks. So just think about that. But we'll move on to the people's team, and we've decided to use the two trades this week. And the most consensus trades were Tino up to Tohu Harris and Lockie Lamb down to Walker. And we'll show what this looks like in our team there. looking forward to round 4. We have Brayley up top with Little and Turpin as cover. Awesome. Crichton, Watson, and Harris in the mid. So really just we wanted to shore up that mid position and make sure we got all guys that are going to be scoring really well. And I'm really happy with that setup there. For our cover, we have Leniu and Fuamayano, who we'll talk about the bench in a sec, but there's the cover for that. And for Feeder and Ricky in the edges with Crichton as cover and also Tyrell. We then move to Schuster and Cleary in our half position, which is really strong. We got Schuster playing on the edge, and we have Texas cover, for example, in the half position at the moment, and Sam Walker. We then move to Momorowski and Tessie New. So a solid centre pairing. We currently don't have any centre cover, which is a bit of an issue and might be something we'd like to look at from next week onwards. Our second possible trade was going to be a Tino to one of these really strong centres, or we could have gone Avarillo up to one of those centres. But I said the consensus trade was bringing in Tohu to shore up that and get a solid 60 every week, which is completely fine. My only question with Tessie New at the moment is how is he going to go the next 4 weeks? They play some really strong teams over the next 4 weeks. They give us scratch that. But I think they've got all the big 4 guns: Panthers, Eels, Roosters, Storm. I think something like that. Or Rabbitohs in there as well, so it's going to be tough for him. But Teddy, Pap, and Laurie, and we have Tex as our fullback cover. So I think over the next few weeks, when we start to cash in a few of these, milk a few of these cows, I think we can possibly get some cover in the centre or wing fullback when Tex goes as well. So that'll be interesting to see. And then our interchange. So we've got Little, Turpin, Tex, and Walker with guys like Leniu and Fuamayano on the emergencies. Currently, I've just set that up like that. Let me know in the comments and in the Discord group, guys, which one you think is going to be best in terms of our makeup of our bench. We obviously have Avarillo in there, so we can try the loop as well, which I'll set that up. Actually, I'll set that up now just to make sure that we don't forget. But we'll put him in the 4 position and set that up from there. But I should check when the Bulldogs play, but making sure that if they play later in the week, then that will be better for our side. I'll just check that now. Bulldogs play second. So what we could do is have him in the 4 position and throw Leniu in Leniu in number 5 as he plays the first game of the round against the Sea Eagles. And if he scores really well, then we can keep his score and leave Avarillo there. If he does, if he scores 40, we'll take. Anything less than that, I think we'll throw either Walker or Fui. I think Fui's not going to be as strong. Like you're thinking a 35 to 40 odd would be his max. So Walker has that more boom or bust kind of way. And if we get that 40, I think we'll bank it. If not, we'll move Walker into the 4 position after that first game. And I think that will be pretty solid with that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the People's team and we'll have a look at my team and the alternates now. Guys, and here we are for NRL Fantasy Analysis into my team there. Ranked at 5,028, and I have used another 2 trades. So hoping to bank a bunch over sort of round, hopefully next week, but around 5, 6, 7, hopefully making 0 to 1 trades at max over that next bunch of rounds to save up a heap ready for those buy rounds. But strategic trade this week, and I've managed to trade out Lockie Croker and Avarillo, and I've actually decided to go, obviously, Sam Walker. But I think I'm picking Joey Manu, which is a really interesting one at this stage of the season. But he's someone that's not going to be playing Origin. I really like the way he looked when he moved into that 6 role on the weekend. It was the last 5 minutes, and they were trying to score a bunch of tries. But for him, he's been a really strong keeper in the centres the last few years, and he had a little bit of a slow start last year, and then picked up and really, averaged, almost close to that 50 mark over the rest of the season. And he's someone that's has very nice longevity. He hasn't really had many injuries in his career, which is great. As I said, no Origin. And I think with him, you're going to be getting some more tackles for him if he's going to be playing that 6 role, which is great. He's fairly solid in defence. And then he played that roaming role going across the field. And he's someone that's going to have that nice palm off, getting the tackle breaks and stuff like that. And I think he's going to be, at 6, I think fairly safe as an option. I was tempted to I could bring up anyone up to Lomax. So Lomax was an option for me, but I've decided to go Manu, who in a better side. The other option was Tyrone Peachy, which a lot of people are picking up this week. And I've decided that his role is it's a bit annoying for me. The minutes he's getting that 40 to 50, yes, it's okay, but if he has a bit of a quiet game without any attacking stats, he's going to be scoring, around 30. If you look at a bunch of his stats from last year, which we'll throw up there now, where are we? Footy statistics for Peachy is a little bit of an issue with some scores last year, even when he played big minutes through the middle. Like he had games of 80 minutes last year. Where we go here, 80 minutes in lock for 34 and stuff like that. Like 65 minutes for 40, and a lot of scores in the 30s there with bigger minutes. And then he has a bunch where he goes absolutely bonkers and gets 55 and 60. And yes, that's kind of what a center is going to be like, but he's just he can just be so up and down. He's got games off the interchange for 21, 25, and if there's any injuries, he can move into a center and stuff like that. I just feel like, for me, he's a little bit too up and down, and I can bank in someone like a Joey Manu, who is a really, really great player and has upside in a really strong Roosters team. So I've just decided to go that as a slight bit of a point of difference. I think he's owned by about 7%, so nothing crazy, but I think I'm really happy to own him and hopefully bank a few trades over the next few weeks. So we'll show you what the team looks like with that trade in, and we've got Brayley. I'm decided that my main option this week was going Croker to Walker, Welsh to Tohu, and in Tohu's sense, I think we can wait with him. He's going to be averaging. He's going to be hitting that 60 every week. He's always going to be around that 800k, and he's your great banker for the year. And I can pick him up at some point. But I feel like Welch deserves another chance. I'm a bit scared keeping him, but I feel like I need to in this case and give him another crack. And if he can get somewhere close to 50, 45, 50, I'll be happy with that score. The main reason for bringing in a center this week is I don't have any center or wing fullback cover. And now that I bring a center in, I cause that as being no issues. I have Tessie New to cover wing fullback and center now, and feel a lot better. And we know how that last story went when I didn't have edge cover. So it was 1 week and there was an injury and I had to make trades. So I feel like if I went the Tohu route and then there was an issue in the centers or wing fullbacks, I have to blow up my team and make a bunch of trades to fix that up. And I don't have the necessary trades. So I feel like this balances out the squad a lot more, and hopefully Welch can improve his fitness, play a couple extra minutes, and not miss as many tackles. Let's hope. But really strong now. Brayley, Welch, Watson, Crichton. I said I'd like to upgrade that at some point. Ricky Fafita, Cleary, Fogarty, Opacek, and Manu I'm happy with Tessie as cover. Pappenhausen, Laurie, and RTS. Interchange sits with Laurie, Schuster, Turpin, and Walker. And then I can have a Lineu and an Alvaro in there. I've just decided to go with Walker. I think he's more chance of going boom and sitting at 5,000 in the ranks. I need a player that's more likely to do that rather than having a chance of hitting somewhere between 25 and 40. Walker's probably sitting more between 25 and 70. So there's every chance he goes nuts. And I've got a bunch of money makers on the bench here. Really happy with how the team's looking, and we'll leave it at that. So that's my team, guys. Please hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these, and we'll move on to the alternates now. All right, we move to the alternates team. And here we are with my one trade for the week. Just Lockie Lamb is the only issue, and I've decided to go with I've needed cover again and to strengthen up the centre and wing fullback, and I've decided to go with Rapana in this one. I had limited choices in this section. I felt like it was Rapana, Kotrick, or Opacek, for example, and I've decided to go with Rapana in a better side than what Kotrick is at this stage. I think there's a chance that he brings back his form of yesteryear in a better side. So the format of this game is great for him if he's feeling fit and running well like he has in his first few games. And I think he can. I don't see him as being too undervalued. Yes, he'll make a little bit more cash, but I'm just hoping for him to average around that 45 mark, and I think he can do that. Obviously, he's scoring tries, but him just running big meters and tackle breaking like he has been. Because those last few games, like the first game, he scored a couple of tries to get his 50, but since then he hasn't scored any tries and just got the one try assist last game for 66 and should have had a try at the end of the game there. But 8 tackle breaks, 220 meters, 160 meters in that second game. Really cool to see, and he's really getting involved coming out of trouble and helping them. And when you've got a forward pack that's really strong, he can play out the back of that and score some tries, but also just get big meters and big tackle breaks there and be safer for us on the wing. And when he's got dual position, not going to be playing Origin, I feel like he's going to be a pretty solid option in the side. Kotrick, I decided not to go with him just because the Dogs are in a pretty bad team, and how many tries is he actually going to get? He's going to have to get a lot of his stats from the tackle breaks, etc. But with this one to just be one trade, that means I would have banked 2 trades so far on the alternates, and the team's looking really strong. So I just thought, why not just shore up the centre position? The only issue we've got at the moment is no Cleary. So other than that, McCulloch, Watson, Twile, Crichton, Fafita, Ricky, Brooks, Schuster, Rapana, Momorowski, really strong centres. Teddy, Pap, and Laurie, with Little, Turpin, Brayley, and Walker on the bench again there. So really cool. This one I can put an Averillo into number 4, like we spoke about before, and have Linu at number 5 for tonight's game, and see how that goes there. But the plan will probably be to play Walker as well in this squad. So I think that's really cool with these guys like Schuster and Walker. You bring them in at a cheap price, and then you can actually start with them and play them, which is great. And I'm thinking for our alternatives this week is to captain McCulloch, keep it nice and safe. So that's where the team's looking at the moment. Looks really solid. I'm really happy with how it's set up. We've got our money makers on the bench. My benches on all the 3 teams are actually looking pretty similar. So Averillo can go at some point in the future, but I feel like you can just sit him there now and use him as a loop if you need to. But ranked at 1878, I really think that this team can go to the moon and eventually get Cleary. And if Cleary has a lighter week or two around that 70 mark, and McCulloch can score somewhere in the 60s, then I think this team can go with the best teams in the comp. So there you go, guys. That's the alternates. That's all 3 teams, and I hope that really helps you guys. And let me know what trades you're doing. Please watch all the videos throughout the week, and I hope that they can answer your questions. But please hit like and subscribe, guys. I really appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.